We did not expect that this will happen. A line that I have often heard to all of the survivors in New Bataan, Davao de Oro, with the strongest typhoon Bofa or Pablo that affected thousands of families last 4th of December 2013. Several shelters were destroyed, wherein the majority of the entire community of New Bataan, along with its 13 barangays, lost their homes, resulting in these homeless families being provided with shelters which are now the low-cost socialized duplex dwellings. One of the primary concerns among most of the government assistance housing projects does not consider comfortability, particularly thermal comfort, which is the highlight of the problem in the study area. The families affected who are the beneficiaries of these mass housing are low-income earners, which is ultimately a huge factor since they also wanted to experience living in a comfortable space. However, not all of them can afford to improve their houses. Some of the population have already modified the typical duplex design due to their personal preferences, whereas most are due to climatic conditions, including indoor thermal comfortability. Alterations and renovations such as an extension to their houses are the majority of the designs wherein they could spend their time in a much spacious area for enough ventilation. Now, the research that I will be proposing is to compare the levels of thermal comfort in a naturally ventilated environment between typical and modified house design. It is to determine if there is a difference between both typical and modified design dwellings in terms of thermal comfortability, considering that the 30 square meter for each portion of the lot, including the house area, is being occupied. The research question would be, how different is the level of thermal comfort between typical and modified house design in Barangay San Roque socialized housing? The study approach of data gathering to be utilized would be quantitative, obtained both subjective through survey questionnaires and objective through on-site simulation using digital thermal sensors. To determine the two variables, the researcher shall use the two-sample t-test method to evaluate the results between typical and modified house design. The hypothesis testing approach will also be considered in order to test if there is a significant difference between the two independent variables wherein the occupants stayed in typical duplex and modified house dwelling.